with you. Okay, now those cryptographic hash functions are designed with properties such as it's not possible to recover any information about the original data from the hash itself, and that no two data inputs create the same hash value. If they did, this is known as a hash collision. And in fact, this is something you may hear eventually, is the hash collision is basically where you take two separate files, two different files, you collide them in the collision, and they end up with the same hash value. This is called a hash collision attack, also known as a birthday attack, if you ever hear that. That's what they're referring to. Now, the sender creates a cryptographic hash of the message and encrypts the hash with an asymmetric encryption private key. This is then attached to the message as a digital signature. The recipient can then use the public key to decrypt the signature to validate the hash by performing their own hash. Should prove that the recipient created the message and that it has not been changed in transit. And hashes can, of course, also be used in password storage. Now, remember that hash collision attack? Well, MD5 and SHA-1 are known to be what's called not collision resistant, which means they are susceptible to collision attacks, again, also known as birthday attacks. All right, we also have different types of encryption based off of the data states. And this here kind of goes into the data at rest. So this is data that doesn't move, like data on persistent storage devices like your hard drives and such. You can encrypt using techniques as whole disk encryption using BitLocker. You can also use mobile device encryption, database encryption, as well as file and folder level encryption. You have data in transit. This is basically data that moves. And data can be protected here, as I'd mentioned before, via SSL or TLS, or again, using VPNs, which allow you to have IPsec or Internet Protocol security for protection there. Okay, next up on the list here is the password cracking. This is where you want to intercept network traffic to maybe sniff passwords. Yeah, you can definitely sniff passwords by using tools like Wireshark and such. Oh, the screenshot here actually shows Cain and Abel, which can definitely be used to sniff passwords and such too, as well as crack passwords. You can obtain password database or files, and there's different types of cracking techniques that we can use. So here we're only mentioning things like a dictionary attack. And with the dictionary attack, what we're basically doing is we're pointing it to a file in hopes that the password will be in that file. And if so, boom, we got the password. Another way of doing it is via a brute force attack. So you can imagine with a dictionary, right? If you use a word for a password, a dictionary attack will probably find it. But if you're not using a word and using something completely random, then a brute force attack might be a better approach. And a brute force attack literally will try every possible combinations that it could be. It takes the longest to do a brute force attack. However, the longer the password is, the longer the brute force attack will take. And if you have, let's say, a 15-character password, it will literally take millions and millions of years to try to crack it. Now, there are other approaches, but we'll save those for other courses. We have a password best practices. Here again, you want to use things like long passwords. Sometimes refer to those as passphrases. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. That might be a very long password you can use. In general, though, you might want to use at least 15 characters or more, but between 9 and 12 is also a good, suitable for an ordinary user account. Use complexity requirements. And here, the complexity improves the security of a password by not using single words, right? Better use a word number combination type of thing. No obvious phrases in a simple form, like birthdays, username, job title, and so on. And make sure you mix it up a little bit. Upper, lowercase, numbers, and symbols. We call that the complexity requirements.